In today's video, I'm going to show you the Cultivate What Matters digital calendar bundle and talk about what you get and how you can use these printable calendars. Hi, I'm Kristen and I post functional planning videos on my channel a few times a week. If you're like me and you need a gentle reminder to just keep it simple, please make sure you're subscribed and I'll be right back. Cultivate What Matters has a digital download that you can purchase, and I think it's the coolest thing because I love printables. I even have a printable shop on Etsy. This is the digital calendar bundle that is dated for 2024. One of the first things I want to point out that's super important is that even though it's called the dated 2024 bundle, this is the only calendar that you get included that is actually dated. Everything else you can use forever and ever because it's undated. So let's talk about everything you're going to get with this bundle. For $19, you're going to get 8 wall calendars that you would print at a print shop and 8 that you can print out in US letter size, which is 8.5 by 11 inches. Later on in the video, I will talk about how you can print these out at different sizes to work for whatever planner you might be using or whatever notebook or however you might want to use these. But let's first talk about what you get. So all of the ones that I have here are printed out on US letter sized paper, the 8.5 by 11 inches. But you're also going to get a wall calendar version of these same exact prints, which will print out at 18 by 24 at a print shop for all of these ones. But the big annual calendar you can print out at 24 by 36. So that's going to be really big. You're going to be able to use that for a lot of things. And one way that you could use it is you could frame it in like a poster frame and then just write on it with a dry erase marker. And that would be like ideal. You could hang that on your wall and just have the entire year of things going on. You can use different colored dry erase markers and color code it and just do it to your heart's content. So this is the annual calendar and it's got all 12 months on it. Now, the difference between this one and the large one that you could have printed at a print shop is that that one has a space at the bottom below the calendars for writing in specific dates and tasks and things that you might want to include on your annual calendar. On the letter size, that is not included, but that's really the only difference. So these are Sunday start calendars, and I wish they offered a Monday start, but that's how Cultivate What Matters does all of their calendars, so they only have a Sunday start. So now let's go through this stack here, and I'll show you the different calendars that they offer in this set. So we've got the annual calendar that we've already seen. This is a monthly calendar that has a space over here on the side for a list, and then you've got a space here that says little by little adds up, and then a spot to write your action steps toward reaching your goals this month. Over here it says reflection reaps rewards and says this month I'm grateful for, and a space to write in your gratitude. And then here you have growing good things and it says habits to cultivate this month, and you've got a spot for 5 different habits that you can check off each day. This one is actually available free on the Cultivate What Matters site. It is day 9 from their countdown that they did before New Year's. I don't know how long that's going to be up there, so I would run and grab that now while you can in case they do take that down. But the day 9 is this same, very exact same calendar. So that is a good way to try that out. If you like this, then you'll probably like all of the rest because they all have this really beautiful floral motif on them. So like I said, it's undated. You can add your dates in here as you want, and that's how the rest of these are. So only this first one, that is the annual calendar, is going to be dated, and the rest of these are undated. So this is your monthly option. Remember to grab your freebie. This is another monthly option, and this one is in landscape mode, and this is it's got a spot up here for the month, and then you've got your 5 weeks of Sunday through Saturday. You've got a color coding key on this side, a space for notes, and a little bucket list checklist here on the side. Inside each date, you have a spot for your meals with a little fork and knife icon. You have appointments and events and 3 spots to check those off. This would be a really great one to put on your refrigerator, I think. So this is another single month option, and you have a spot for the month. You've got your Sunday through Saturday, and on the weekdays you have your top 3 things you want to do that day and a spot to check off your hydration, and those are on all of the weekdays. At the bottom you have goals I'm working on this month, habits I'm cultivating this month, action steps for completing those goals and the due dates, and a spot to check them off, and then a spot for coming up for next month. Now the last 4 that I have here are all 90 days, so they all have 3 months of calendars on them. So this one has a spot for your monthly goals, a to-do list, and a notes section, and then your Sunday through Saturday for each one. So they're all the same, but the top one is like the pinkish color, the middle one is a bluish color, and the bottom is a greenish color. And you'll notice that they have that same color motif going on for the rest of these. So this one has the monthly goals for each month. This one has a break it down section, which looks like their little break it down notepad. So you've got your calendars on the left side over here, and then this has break it down where you can write the project or the goal that you're working on, a spot for why you're working on that, a space for 6 action steps with their due dates and notes, and then you have that for each of the 3 months. On this one says tending this season little by little, and here it's got your 3 calendars, but instead of individual lists for each calendar, you've got one whole list for the entire season. And up here it says quarterly goals, and you have a spot to write down 5 goals you might be working on and a little progress bar to fill in. This one says coming up this season, and it's got a spot here for maybe the date and over here for the event or whatever it is. And then down here you've got a spot for action items and a spot for notes. This one is back to having individual sections for each calendar. This one looks a lot like what you're going to find in your power sheets, where it has the to-do, goals to make progress on my calendar, and on my mind for each of the months. So these are all of the 8 printables you're going to get, and like I said, you can have all of these printed at 18 by 24 at a print shop, and then this one, the annual calendar, can be printed at 24 by 36. Of course, I printed them all at letter size, and I think it's nice to note that there are spaces over here. The margins are set up so where you can hole punch these to add to your binder. And I'm not super familiar with a disc bound system, but I would imagine that there's plenty of space over here to punch for discs as well if you wanted to use it that way. So speaking of using them that way, I have printed some at different sizes to show you how you could use them in different planners. So these 2 I have printed at 80%. So all you have to do is go into, when you click to print this is a PDF. When you click to print it, you want to go and look at the different sizes that are available. I've printed most of these at actual size. You will just have to play with the different sizes that are available with your specific printer software. Just click through them and look at your preview window on your software just to see if everything is showing up. Some of them you may need to say actual size, some of them you may need to say fit, just depending on what you want to show on your print here. Now these ones I printed at custom scale, and I changed the percentage from 100%, which is this, to 80%. And now they don't come with guidelines for cutting, but you can easily see where you would want to cut these. So at 80%, this will fit in the various different planners that I have here. So let me show you. Let's start at the bottom here. And this is my season by season weekly planner. And I would be able to cut this down to fit within this footprint. So I'm going to do that real quick to show you. And I'm going to use my paper trimmer here. And since these don't have cut lines when you print them at a different percent, you're just gonna have to use your eyes. And so I am going to just use the guide here and line up as much as I can, and I can see my where the cut line is going to be. I can kind of see through that because the paper I just use the cheap paper from Walmart, the copy paper, and so it's not super thick, so I can see right through it. And you can see there I was able just to cut this margin off, and now I can turn the paper and just do that again. I want to line that up, and I don't want to cut these pretty flowers off the top. It would help if I turned this so that I could see what I'm doing, probably. I just thought it might be easier for you to see that way, but I guess it doesn't matter looking up in the viewfinder. So I'm going to line that up. I can see through. You probably aren't going to be able to tell on your from your view, but I can see it. The other way you can do that to make sure you're not cutting off anything that you want to see is just grab a straight edge that's longer and then line that up with your the cut line where you're going to be. And you can see here that mine is going to cut off the tops of those flowers. So I'm just going to pull it down just a little bit. I can see here that it's only going to cut off just the very tippy top of those pink flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and call it there and say that that works for me. And there we go. And then you're just going to keep doing that all the way through until you have it exactly how you want it lined up for the planner that you want to put this in. And just keep cutting off those extra margins that you don't need. So there we go. Now I have this small one, and let's see here how this is going to fit. It's going to fit great in here. I'm going to be able to use my snap-in wild card holder, or I can just tape this in however I want, or let's test it out in the pocket back here, and it'll fit in my pocket as well. So that is how, remember I said 80%. You could totally leave more margin, like here where I cut that off. You could leave extra so that you could tape it in or do it however you want. You can cut this off more. It's really up to you, and you could totally customize it to fit whatever notebook or planner you're trying to fit it in. But let's see how these fit in these other books I have. So remember, that was the season by season weekly planner. Now I have my power sheets, and it looks like it's going to fit just fine in my power sheets. And I would be able to tape this in however I wanted. It'll fit on the pages. And I can use a snap-in wild card holder as well to tape that to, however you want to do that. So that 80% will fit in your power sheets. And then also I have a 7x9 planner here. This one is Erin Condren. Let's just turn it to a blank page here. And that'll fit just perfectly in my 7x9 as well. One of the things I thought would be really great is printing on a sticker paper, and then you could totally print this one at 80% on sticker paper and then add that into your annual planner and use it as a habit tracker. And then you can check off the entire year of something that you're trying to track for that year. You could do the same with any other kind of tracking you want to do, tracking your mood, your cycle, health symptoms, days that you exercise, any kind of habit tracking. That would be a really great thing to print on sticker paper and then add it to your planner so that you can always have that handy. Of course, in your power sheets or any other place as well. So let's talk about some of the different ways you can use these. I printed this one small enough to fit into my season by season weekly planner because that is my work planner and I make YouTube videos for work. And so I wanted a spot to kind of map out what I can do for each of the places where I share content. Now, this one is meant to be for 90 days. You have your 3 months worth of calendars. For me, I'm going to use it for 1 month for 3 different goals. So for me, for example, for work, I am going to use one section for my YouTube content, one section for my website content, and one section for my Etsy shop. And that way I have a month of goals that I can see mapped out on a calendar all in one spot. And then I'm just going to tape this in. This would be a really great way to just break out specifically things that I need to do for each of my main like long form type content that I'm sharing. So videos, certain things I need to do on certain days for videos, and then the goals that I have for my YouTube channel, and then the same with my website and my newsletter, that would all be here. And then any kind of things I need to keep track of for my printable shop, that would go here, and the goals I have for that. So these seasonal or quarterly calendars could totally be used in different ways and not just for seasonal things. It could be used for each person in your family or each child in your family. It could be, you know, this is the household schedule, and then this is like each kid for their sports or extracurricular type activities. There's so many different ways you could do that. One of the other things I thought would be neat is, like, say you have 3 kids and they all have different chores and things. This would be like a good way to mark out the different chores that they need to be doing and the things that they're responsible for. You could use it as a cleaning schedule. This one, like I was saying before, would be really great for a family calendar for the refrigerator, because you can color code on here and just use a highlighter, maybe like blue for your things, green for like your son, and like yellow for your daughter. And then you can show on here specific events that you highlight for each person so that that person might know, but then also you have like dinner on here. This one I really like for your personal goals, because there's a lot of stuff on here that's specific for goals, for your habits and your routines, because this list, it could be just a total 1 month list, but I kind of see there's a space between each week so that there's 4 things that align with each week. And so you could have that for your different routines for the week. Like, I need to check off that I've done my food prep and I have baked my gluten-free bread for the week, and I've done my budget review and I've planned my week. So that's stuff that needs to happen on a weekly basis. And then you can put your individual special things for each day right here. And then of course a spot to check off your habits and any notes and gratitude. I like this one because it mirrors what you see in your power sheets, and I feel like it's a really great way to kind of pre-plan. I know a lot of people get hung up on doing things very specifically and doing it like the right way. And maybe you don't want to make a mistake on this. I don't care about, like, I have gotten past that, and there is a light at the end of that tunnel of perfectionism. You can move on from that and get to a point where you can make mistakes on something as beautiful as, you know, this planner. But if you're not there yet, something like this that you can just print out a new one. This right here mirrors this. It's the same boxes. So you can kind of plan out your quarter and put that here first, so that if you make a mistake or if you realize it's too much or something, you can just, you have a practice sheet, right? And then just print out another one next time. And you can sit down and kind of write out all the basic stuff that you need to add on your monthly plans here ahead of time, so that you don't make a mistake when you write on this one. So I liked that if you're still struggling with perfectionism in that way. And we've got some other things here. This is a really nice way to just see how you're using your seasons. So on one of the pages in your power sheets that I've seen a lot of questions on lately is this Pace Yourself for Success section where it talks about making sure you're not trying to do everything all at once, and then you can break it down by season here. This is another nice way to incorporate that kind of planning into it, where you can print this out, figure it all out here, and then transfer it here where you have less space to write things. But here you can actually see it all mapped out on one sheet in front of you, and then you can pick which things you're working on each month and add them to your Pace Yourself for Success spread in your power sheets. This is a great layout for tracking wellness because you have different habits and hydration and action steps and goals. There's a lot on here that you can relate to a wellness journey. Also, maybe you're training for a marathon or some other kind of fitness event. This might be a good one here to write out, like, each day you're training, the most important things you need to do, keeping track of your hydration and other habits. I like this one for some of your larger goals, like maybe a long-term finish line goal, or even just a big dream, the projects that go along with those kinds of goals. You could make one page work for that entire overall goal, and then these are the individual projects you're going to be working on each month. Maybe it's the same project for the entire season, but it's just smaller sections of each project that you can put here. And then this is just only stuff that pertains to that goal, so that you're not confusing it and cluttering it up with other things. And you can see how you can lay that out on a monthly basis. And then you can transfer that into your power sheets or your planner. Another way you could use one of these 90-day calendars might be for planning out breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the entire month. I know it says goals over here, but maybe that is a goal for, say you're putting dinner here. You can put like 3 things that you need to remember to celebrate, like certain birthdays or other events. Like maybe you're planning to go out to eat one day, you could add that here. Maybe it's someone's birthday and you can add that here. Or maybe you want to try a new recipe, you can add those types of things to here, even though it says monthly goals, but you could really be creative and use it in so many different ways. You could use these 90-day calendars to keep track of cleaning, seasonal cleaning, and other projects in the home. So I hope that this gave you some inspiration on how you can use the digital calendar bundle. It can be kind of hard to find on the site when you're browsing around, so I will link it in the description. And as a reminder, I am a Cultivate What Matters affiliate, so I thank you so much for using my link. And using that link automatically applies my discount code, which I'll put on the screen. It's my name, Kristen Kramer, but it's spelled weird, so just mind the spelling. But if you use the link, you don't have to type it in. You will get 10% off. And if this is on sale, my code will actually stack with that, so you will get an extra discount. So again, thank you so much for using my link and my code. It really helps to support my channel and helps me with my financial goals of contributing to our household budget in a more significant way. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you really liked it, please consider subscribing, because I post functional planning videos on my channel a few times a week. And if you liked this one, you're probably gonna like those ones too, and I would love to see you in the next one. Until then, embrace your imperfections and just be you. Bye.